As always, Bayo Atebe is right here with us in the studios. Bayo, good morning and welcome.
Thank you, Kinsley. Good morning. Good morning, Kevin.
Yeah, very good to see you.
Okay, so we begin by taking a look at the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. And below the nameplate, you have the following headlines. National Assembly Committee empowers INEC to decide on e-transmission of results. Zamfara Assembly summons Deputy Governor and CP over PDP rally. FG monetizes posting of police officers to private organizations. FG monetizes posting of police officers to private organizations. That's on page 4. And this story, it's on security, says, again, bandits and IPOB militia on the prowl. And 5 riders to that in different parts of the country. Kogi monarch abducted, businessman killed in Bauchi. 3 policemen, football club chair and manager shot dead in Anambra. ESN, that's in the east, kills 2 soldiers in Enugu. Katsina and Daura Emirates suspend Salah festivities. 6 persons kidnapped in Abuja. And same old story, that's what the photograph there on the front page is telling us. It says villagers scoop black engine oil after a tanker crashed at Manderegi community along Abuja Lokoja Highway. And FEC approves 309.9 billion naira road contract for Dangote. FEC approves 309.9 billion naira road contract for Dangote. Is it a contract for Dangote or by Dangote? To be executed by Dangote, I believe. All right. Right at the foot of the front page there, audit report, NPA, that's Sports Authority, NHIS, and BPE, 56 others to return 300 billion naira. NHIS is health insurance scheme. Couple jailed 3 years for confining niece to fridge. This took place in Sokoto, and the fridge was said to have been unused, but the niece was confined there for varying periods of time. 3 siblings die after eating amala in Kwara. Kirian.
All right, let's turn to the leadership newspaper. Just one of the stories I recently just read. Federal government okays 309 billion road contract. Tax credit for Dangote. That's the way leadership captured it here. Now the lead story, Nigeria moves to tackle terrorists with robots. That's on page 4. It has 4 riders, 2 soldiers slain in Enugu community, arm in fingers, ESN, bandits kill 6, abduct 5 in 3 states. Use of excessive force aggravating banditry, that's according to Gumi. Those living with bandits risk air strikes, that's according to Nigerian Air Force. All right, other stories trending. The leadership newspaper, PIB, governors query proposed ownership structure of NNPC, as on page 6. COVID-19, Unilag shutdown begins virtual lectures. The story is on page 9. Now, World Bank louds Kogi governor over financial prudence. The story is captured on page 11. Now, audit report, 59 MDAs to refund 300 billion naira. It's on page 6. Media bill not suspended, says Reps Committee. NAS passes electoral bill today. Well, that'll be all. Let's bring in Bayo now.
Thank you, Kirian. Let's start with issues relating to criminality. 2 soldiers have been murdered at the checkpoint at Iga Asaba. That is in Adani, Uzo, Owani local government area of Enugu State. The director of Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Yema Ugachuku, says that they were part of the troops deployed to check activities of gunmen in that area. 2 soldiers were engaged in repelling attacks by Eastern Security Network. The troops are currently on the trail for the criminals who killed the 2 soldiers. There's a report that Kingsley read about kidnapping in Abuja. It took place in Tungamaji. Tungamaji is in the outskirts of Abuja, along the Lokoja-Abuja highway. It's been a notorious area for kidnapping. The other area for kidnapping in Abuja is around Kuje area. In fact, the villages around Kuje have constantly been traumatized by kidnappers. But the Abuja Police Command have been up and doing and have been reducing the number of incidences. But Tungamaji is again coming up on the increase. Now, talking about
villages along the road.
Tungamaji is along the highway. It's in fact very close to it. There's a College of Education, College of Education, FCT, very close to Tungamaji area there.
Tungamaji has been in the news for several months now on account of incidents such as you were talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
Usage of robotic technology, this was revealed to the Senate committee that the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy has established a center for artificial intelligence and robotics. And through that, the center will be able to make available robotic technology and intelligence, which will be deployed to combat crime. Lagos State Police Command has paraded 1,320 suspects for various criminal activities in Lagos. This is coming after Lagos State House of Assembly passed a bill prohibiting the parade of alleged suspects. The bill is awaiting the assent of the governor. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police, Lagos State, Hakeem Odumosu, has provided an update on the alleged murder of the Super TV executive, Mr. Usifo Ataga. And the Unilag undergraduate is being the sole suspect, but she is reported to have changed her initial story of complicity to deny any involvement. Commissioner of Police Odumosu says initially she was the only suspect, but now we have arrested additional suspects. He claimed the speculations that the case will be swept under the carpet will never happen. Already, conspiracy has been established in the case and we are following it. The other story of concern relates to University of Lagos. The University of Lagos has shut hostels indefinitely as a measure to check the possible spread of COVID-19 epidemic. The head of the corporate communication, Mrs. Noye Ogwana, says that this is sequel to some students testing positive to COVID-19. Those students have been sent to health facilities, and those who had been in contact with them have also been traced and are in isolation. The Dean of Student Affairs, Professor Ademola Adeleke, says hostels have been locked indefinitely. Lectures for the rest of the semester will be delivered virtually from the 26th of July. The University Medical Center had reported that it has witnessed an increase in number of patients with flu-like symptoms, which were very similar to COVID-19. It made me recall that since last week, the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, had raised alarm that there has been an increase in the cases of COVID-19 in Lagos. The House of Representatives...
University of Lagos held this convocation last week.
Yes.
So, convocation is...
it's a crowd gathering thing.
A mass gathering.
Yes.
A mass gathering and a potential super spreader spot.
Yes.
Of course, there's every possibility that that is where it happened, because we seem to have relaxed with respect to the COVID-19 non-pharmaceutical protocols across the nation, even at official gatherings. Because that's exactly what happened. If they can give lecture via virtual platform, then they could have as well done convocation without much gathering, especially when you have to gather and bring parents and other visitors to the school.
You see, crowd gathering can be very dangerous. The recently concluded European Championships, one of the matches, after the matches, there were 30,000 reported cases of COVID-19.
Exactly.
For crowd management, yes.
They will grapple with that. I mean, there's this story here. It's on page 4, but the headline is on the front page. It says federal government monetizes posting of police officers to private organizations. Let me read part of the story. The Federal Executive Council yesterday approved the formalization of the Police Special Services, by introducing tariffs and billing schemes for the deployment of escorts and guards to big corporations, banks, and others. Garba Shehu was said to have disclosed this, and that it was in the interest of transparency and accountability. The scheme was by way of a proposal, a memo introduced by the Minister of Police Affairs. Now, this is how it goes. It says, this is something that has been going on for many years. That is the quoting Garba Shehu now. And it has happened virtually in all countries of the world. In our own case, people will say it has been going on largely undocumented. Government is concerned about leakages in revenue and incomes, which should now be blocked. Now, they are going to share the money. Part of the money that will be paid will go to the federal government, another will go to the police force itself, and then the other will be part of allowances for the police officers, and then a consultant.
What about individuals? You know, individuals who
and others, and others.
That is not specific.
No, we're in legal construction. Others will include individuals, and others will include individuals. But you know, this is something that is significant and potentially worrisome. We've always, over the years, heard about rent-a-cop. In other words, private individuals, organizations could go hire police officers
to provide services
for guard duties. And the claim always was that these persons paid for the services of those officers. At some point, it was being said that to get a mobile police officer, you needed to pay about 50,000 naira or so, I think, per month. Depending on the location.
So such money will not go into the purse of government.
That is precisely what has been said. That's what is said. There will be a new tariff and scheme to say, this is, if you want to hire a cop, this is what you will do.
Pay, and the distributive pool has now been broken down, how it will be distributed.
But I think that there are concerns that should be further addressed.
What about government officials, for instance? Members of National Assembly, they all have security, ministers.
I will tell you, I mean, you can be sure that there were supplementary allocations, if you like, for such services in the past. But now they're saying formalize it. If you recall, over the years, it had always been an empty call, by the heads of the police force to say, look, we are withdrawing police officers attached to individuals and so on and so forth. Say, look, with no more police for private guard duties. Nobody obeyed those things. Or if at all they obeyed, within a short while, they always came back.
24 hours later, it will be reversed.
Absolutely. Now, probably we'll see an end to that. But my concern is, okay, you now say there will be a tariff, and then if you say there's a tariff, the government says, look, for each cop, you're probably going to pay 20,000. Suppose people now say, listen, there's a high demand for it. So there could also be a markup on that, so that those who previously benefited from it will continue to benefit. But why you have inadequate number of policemen?
Exactly.
Inadequate number, and this is what we are seeking to formalize. I think it's a bit worrisome, especially also as, again, from what has been said, probably the details are there in the memo which the Minister of Police Affairs submitted to the Federal Executive Council. What percentage of personnel can and should be deployed at any point in time for these special services?
At the last information available, there was an indication that there were 150,000 police, almost half of the police force were deployed to other services other than the general policing, which points to the fact that Kingsley is emphasizing.
I don't really understand this. You will see perhaps maybe a minister, for instance. You have about 6 or 7 policemen. I'll be wondering, what are these people doing? I mean, I don't know, but I think to formalize it is important. Yes. And again, to ensure that Nigeria is properly policed is yet another.
If you buy, I'm sorry, this is an interesting issue, because if you recall, some of those police officers that you will see, either with ministers or some private citizens, are usually policemen of the mobile unit.
Exactly.
And these are men who are supposed to be deployed for anti-riot.
Anti-riot.
First line, not first line now, that's the line beyond the regular police to quell riots or disturbances before you bring in the military. And then you see them all over the place with their very well-starched uniforms and assault rifles. And in the meantime, we're having security all over the place.
Well, I was trying to draw attention to the alarm raised by Professor Ambili Etepe, and it is about oceanification. And he is saying that oceanification is the encroachment of the ocean into the hinterlands, just like desertification sees to the desert advancing inwards. He says that as far as Bayelsa State is concerned, there are about 500 communities, and already many of them, about 105 communities, are already threatened with oceanification. And he said that something has to be done very quickly. And he adds that the blame of the activities expanding is related to oil companies whose operation offshore is also aggravating the oceanification. And he revealed that development spillage also is another factor that is compounding the challenges of oceanification. But the good news is that the Minister of Environment has indicated that of the 90 identified communities for oil spillage, about 27 of them have so far been cleaned under the Ogini land cleanup that began in 2016.
All right, just in one or two words, the issue of editorial, 30 days notice, deadline on formation of cabinet is good for governance. Just in a word or two.
Yeah, what he's saying is that the National Assembly is now amending the Constitution to provide a 30-day limit for the federal government and the state to appoint the cabinet, so that you avoid the situation of a sole administrator. There are governors that have run for almost half a year or a year without commissioners. And at the federal level, the president, for instance, at the first time out, could not have a cabinet until late in November. So you can imagine what that
Bayo, thank you indeed for
thank you too.
Being part of our show as always. We hope to see you again tomorrow for more analysis on all the papers are saying. This is Good Morning Nigeria, broadcast on the network service of the NTA. We will take a short break now. When we return, we will be dealing with the issue for today, and that's a COVID-19 Delta variant. Do stay with us.